All right, well, it's clear that managing teams and maximizing results is important keys to organizational success. A recent article from INSEAD, the Online International Business School, offers some clues as to how compensation factors into this equation. How your bonus affects your colleagues' behavior is the name of the piece, and it appeared in Wednesday's issue, you see right there, of the Quality Digest newsletter. Well, that's why we try not to have people know what everybody makes. It's a problem. But this is really interesting what they did here in this piece. I'm going to get into it here in a minute. The authors of the article, Thanish Paranam and Sunki Lee, both of INSEAD, recently completed a paper looking at this very question, and the results were really very surprising, to say the least. Their paper described a natural experiment comparing compensation schemes at a South Korean e-commerce enterprise. They refer to it as kind of like a Groupon-like company, which is important because you have to understand that teams of salespeople need to reel in partnerships. That's really the lifeblood of the company is those partnerships. So sales work is really what that company is all about. Very, very important, and how they motivate salespeople are important in their success. So, as it so happens, this company was in the midst of a transition in how they handled compensation during the time of Paranam and Lee's study. Up until then, all salespeople were paid by performance, commission-based salespeople, which is normal for many companies. However, the company was slowly transitioning the individuals on their sales teams to fixed salaries. The change was made in alphabetical order, which represented the randomness necessary for the natural experiment to work. I mean, that's what a natural experiment is. You don't kind of create those parameters. They exist, and you say, "Ooh, this is a great experiment, which we can run naturally in the real world."
Yeah, and it just so happened this company was going through this transition, so they were able to. And the fact that they were rolling it out alphabetically
enabled the randomness. To is a perfect natural experiment. And again, looking at to see how the two basic types of compensation models would affect collaboration within the workplace. Really interesting psychological experiment here. And one of the really interesting insights from this experiment was that social effects have a powerful effect on human behaviors, even more than rewards such as money. As the authors write, I want to quote from this right here: "Removing rewards pegged to individual performance appears to have freed employees to engage in joint production behavior. As more and more employees were switched to fixed salary, the social effects exerted an irresistible pull on the pay for performance sales staff. Despite still being subject to the old system, they jumped on the collaboration bandwagon." Now, I added the italics there because I found that rather incredible. The financial rewards of the old system were pulling the salespeople to think of themselves at the expense of the team, right? But the power of the social system was such that they still began collaborating more even before they were on the new fixed salary system. Really interesting that there's this element of social collaboration going on in the company, slowly spreading as people begin to profit from working together, really more than individually. So. Some people were transitioning to that. Others still were basically getting commission based on how many deals they themselves could make.
But they still ended up working together.
But even the ones that were still profiting more from doing their own commission, making their own sales, began to collaborate. How can I help you? Maybe that deal is better for you. We should work together on that one, that kind of stuff. Really interesting, the social, I don't want to say pressures, but I guess it's a good word. The pressures of the social system was such that it overcame their desire for money. Interesting stuff. Well, I mean, this goes back to the idea that the strongest type of motivation is inherent motivation, right? I mean, money is a much less powerful force, yet management by reward and its counter, management by threat, is really as prevalent now as it ever was. So this kind of turns that on its head a little bit. In other words, yes, you can manage by reward, you can manage by threat, many people do it, but this is saying, well, when you have inherent motivation of a social system where people can work together and feel good about helping each other out, and the company grows through that, that works. People do want to, in some way they want to do that, even though they want the money too. They want to be part of that social system, maybe even more strongly than just the money.
Interesting.
Really fascinating social experiment.
I think we lose track a lot that people inherently want to, like you said, they inherently want to work together. I think, or most people, not all people.
Many do.
People generally like the social aspect, and when you set it up where, the original way, the merit pay, you kind of are pitting people against each other, and which is maybe good for your pocket, depending on how good a salesperson you are, but you're isolating yourself, which probably isn't good.
But think about what else it does. It creates mentorships where now your whole team, I mean, in any sales team, you have 50 salespeople. I mean, obviously, some are going to be really, really good, and some are going to be not as good. Some are new, some are experienced. So when you create it so that it's not just these silos of money, silos of reward, of the way it mostly is in these systems, when you say, well, we're going to spread that out so all of you are going to succeed or fail together, well, then all of a sudden you say, well, hey, are you struggling with that? This is what I do when I encounter a customer that I can't satisfy or a difficult problem. This is what I do. And that mentorship helps spread the wealth around and make the company organization better all together.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff.
Interesting experiment. So check that one out. Really interesting social natural experiment there from InSeed.
Yep.